I found it. Sorry. Okay, so Jeremy, you're on.
Thank you, Debbie. You're doing a great job hosting, and thank you, Kurt, and thank you everyone here for attending. I'm glad everyone's here. And as Debbie mentioned, please raise your hand if you have a question. I have a lot of information to present. I've been doing this for 12 years, and I'm going to try to give you everything I can in that hour that I have. So without further ado, let's hop right in. I'm going to share my screen. First, I just want to get a quick general idea, like how many people here, and you can put it in chat or the people on the screen, just raise your hand. How many people here have a Facebook business page? Okay, so what I'm seeing, we have about 80–90%. How many people here have ran boosted posts before on Facebook? Okay, so we've got a couple, maybe 40–50%. How many people have actually used Ads Manager and Business Manager run ads? Okay, I don't see anyone. What? Yeah, Yichang, okay, yeah, kind of. So good. So I'm going to share some things for the extreme beginner all the way up to super advanced. Let me share my screen here. Okay. And can everyone see my screen?
Yep, good.
Okay, so yeah, Debbie just called. I'm going to minimize the participants' videos so I can see my full screen, so I'm not blocked. But again, just please shout out. I'm going to go fast. Please feel free to take notes. You got the recording, but shout out if I'm going too fast and you have a question that pertains to you or your business. Okay. So we're going to go over my top 10 amazing Facebook marketing tips. I still call it Facebook. We technically should be starting to call it Meta, but I'm kind of old school and I'm keeping Facebook for now because their domain name is still facebook.com. So let me make sure. Okay, so who am I? I am a father and family man, first and foremost. There is my girlfriend, Tiffany, and my 10-year-old son as of Monday, Freedom. I am passionate about personal and spiritual growth and health. I'm a vocalist and a guitarist. Been singing since I was in grade school, and I take lessons from a local guitar legend, Dave Beagle, who's become a good friend of mine over the last 5 years. I've directly managed about $20 million in ad spend with Facebook ads over my 12 years in digital marketing. And plus I've had junior media buyers and team members spending as well. As Debbie mentioned, I'm a member of Facebook's Small Medium Business Council. I got to go out to headquarters in 2016 for the first time. I was one of 13 selected. It was a huge honor. It was really cool. Since then, I've been a founding member of their Leaders Network, their small medium business ads ecosystem, which is dedicated to the whole new thing that we're dealing with privacy. I've reached over 100 million people with ads. I've seen how they responded. I've done this in over 60 different niches. Feature author, contributor, IBM, Launch Grow Joy, Marketing Avengers books, websites, As you know, I'm a speaker because I'm here. There's a picture below me speaking in Sacramento a couple years ago. Anyway, so here's my story. So I always like to start with my story so you get that I'm a real human being, just like you. Have challenges, successes, sadness, happiness, just like you. I am a Colorado native, actually. I was born in Fort Collins and grew up in Windsor, Colorado, and I graduated from CSU in 1999 in landscape horticulture. Very different from what I'm currently doing. But during that time was a family business, and I was working 80 to 100 hours a week. I was not very healthy. In fact, I was taking anxiety medication to face the day. I was drinking pretty heavily. I was just not very healthy spiritually, mentally, or emotionally. And it kind of came to a point of no return when I was on a landscape bid outside of Windsor, and a customer who actually became a business partner later, he asked me what my passions were. And I looked over at Long's Peak and I was like, you know what? I don't remember. And I truly that day, I was like, I don't remember what I love to do in life. I got so last. So I had a right brain shift, and I said, you know what, today I'm going to make the commitment that I'm going to be happy and successful no matter what happens. So I got excessive about this personal development, and which became spiritual development. And I started studying marketing every day, every night, anywhere I drove. And I found the right mentor. I was very excited. I started a meetup group over at CB and Potts in Fort Collins. I grew that from like 1 member up to almost 400 members, I think. I was super excited, but I blew through my life savings to kind of make this transition from landscaping to marketing. And I'm kind of a funny story now. My late ex-wife, I remember her dumping Deep Rock container of change so we could go get groceries. I'm like, what am I doing? She's brought 2 children to our life. She's pregnant with freedom. But I had faith. I was like, you know what? The universe will provide. I'm putting in the work. I'm providing the value. And funny side story, I actually went and we got $80 out of the change to get groceries. And there was a homeless guy at the King Supers on Timberline and Harmony. I gave him $20. And my former wife was mad because I should have given him 5. Anyways, I knew the universe would provide, and it did. So I closed my first client. I was super excited, and things were looking up. And then the very worst thing that's ever happened to me happened to me. I got a call on New Year's Day, 2013, and my dad was distraught, saying, "You better get over here, son. Your brother's committed suicide." Worst phone call I've ever received. Hopefully it's the worst I ever do receive. But I kept moving forward. I stayed in this place of faith and positivity and kind of used this personal and spiritual growth that I had committed to. And I targeted people on Facebook that had been affected by suicide. I raised $5,000. I traveled by train across the nation to Washington, D.C. and walked like 16, 17 miles overnight as a fundraiser and to raise awareness. So it turned into a positive. I had some challenges continue, but I just kept pushing forward. My dad passed away after that, end of marriage, 2015. But I tell you that to just say, wherever you're at in life, in business, you can get to the next step. You can get through it. I persevered, and so can you. So I'm here to support you in that, in life and business. Why should you listen today? As you can see at the top, there's Haley Pomeroy. I've marketed for celebrities, helped them hit the New York Times bestseller list with Facebook ads. On the left, you can see I've launched products on showing e-commerce businesses how to advertise their business online. I'm the author of books, as I mentioned. Down lower right corner, another local Andrea Matai, who owns Media Leads, which is a very good program for anyone wanting to get featured in publications. Facebook asked us to host a Facebook Live on their page for International Women's Day. And that's probably the most nervous I've ever been, because I think their page had like 10 million fans. So it was a large audience watching. So anyway, and as you maybe saw in the email, I did have the opportunity to meet Mark Zuckerberg. If you look really close in the middle, he's the kind of shorter guy with red hair, and I'm just to the left of him as you look at that. It was a great experience. That was the second time I was at headquarters. I met Sheryl Sandberg the first time, but Mark Zuckerberg walked in the room, and very friendly guy. I got a good feeling about his energy and his commitment to social change in the world. So it was a great experience getting the chance to meet him and hear him talk. It was kind of funny. You maybe have a perception of what a billionaire is like, and he was kind of soft-spoken, a little bit nervous to speak in front of the group. So just like you and I, but with an extra couple billion in his pocket. Some of the results that Facebook marketing has produced. This client spent $29,000, generated 40-some thousand leads, and $260,000 in revenue. Another client, this was the start of 2021, 1,600 purchases, 138,000 generated from 21,000 spend, which is a 6.5 ROAS, or similar to ROI. You can also get massive engagement with Facebook ads. Here's one where we spent about $2,700, reached 12.5 million people. This was actually a plastic surgeon whose true passion was music. And so we helped get his music in front of tons of people. You can see this post down here has 36,000 people that liked or loved or whatever to it, 405 comments, 4.1 thousand shares. So it really got him some life-changing results. So if that's not enough, why Facebook marketing? If you're not doing it, or you're not doing it a lot. There's 2.9 billion active users. Your buyers are there. There's 1,500 data points Facebook knows on each user. You can use this to target your buyers. Things have changed a little recently. I'm going to go into that, but you can still do it. The average user spends 33 minutes on Facebook. It's where your buyer's attention is. And you got to also think about Instagram. Facebook owns Instagram as well. So the eyeballs and the attention are there. There's over 4 billion video views per day. And as you've seen from some of those results, or just a fraction of the results I've helped people create, it can absolutely transform your life and business by getting your products, services, and messages in front of thousands, tens of thousands, or millions of people if you choose. But scale it down. If you only do business locally, think about what it'd be like to reach every single one of your perfect buyers with your message and give them value to bring them into your awareness and your funnel. So tip number one, does anyone have any questions before we start? Okay, Debbie, I'm counting on you to manage the chat because I'm not going to open that up. And so just shout out, please, if there are questions come in. So tip number one is use video. There's over 100 million hours of video watched every day on Facebook. And according to independent tests, people can recall newsfeed content mobilely after only seeing it for a quarter of a second. So what that means is, with this next stat, you want to really focus on hooking someone in the beginning of a video, providing some value right away, getting their attention because they're just scrolling through their feed, kind of looking for news, friends, family, entertainment, da 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 da. You want to catch their attention and provide some value right away. You want to use Facebook Lives, stories, and reels, Instagram Reels. Video ads can reach 1,000 people for less than $5. So your cost per 1,000 impressions, or CPMs as they call them, are like $5 locally for to reach 1,000 people. Think about what that could do for your business if you put the right video in front of the right people that needed your services and products. Think about what that could do for that small amount of investment in ad spend. Tip number two, use mobile. So in 2015, mobile-only internet users surpassed desktop-only users. It's only exponentially grown since there, the percentage of people mobile. Mobile actually now accounts for almost 3/4 of all purchases on Black Friday. I would say this Black Friday, we're probably going to approach the 80% mark on that. So everything you do, you want to think mobile first. The reach ad objective, it allows you to nearby people to get directions to your physical location or event from a mobile feed. So those of you who have a brick and mortar business, if you wanted to put an ad in front of someone, or even like a follow-up, someone that shown interest in your content previously, what's called a retargeting ad, you can put an ad in their newsfeed that gives them the call to action button on there says get directions. They click it. I'll show you what it brings up, a map, and it will actually navigate them right to the front door. There's also a call now objective I'm going to show you within the reach ad objective, where you can actually program your phone number into the ad. They click the ad and dials your number right from Facebook's newsfeed. Lead generation objective allows people to opt in your list from mobile with one touch, so you don't have to send them off to a contact form or a landing page. They literally have a form that pops up in their feed. It imports the phone number and the email address and name they used to sign up with Facebook for, which improves your lead quality, and you can generate leads that way. So mobile for my accounts for about 85 to 90% of the traffic. As I mentioned, you want to optimize for mobile. All traffic coming in is now about 85 to 90% that I'm seeing for across all my clients, consulting and agency and otherwise. And you can tell, I always mention, you can tell a lot about your person or your avatar, as you're going to hear me say throughout the presentation. Your avatar is just your ideal potential buyer. And we'll talk about that more in a moment. But if you ever get a chance to look at without looking creepy, looking at your customers' home screen, see what kind of apps they have on there. Like I look at mine and I've got Facebook and Slack and Skype and a fitness app and calendar and TikTok and email, and it kind of tells a lot about myself. So just something to keep in mind. Here's one of the results of those mobile local reach ads, where we get directions to a front door. This was actually a client, actually this map is at Fort Collins, but you can see you can draw a geo-targeted circle, put an age, gender, and from your location, you can laser target people within a mile or up to 50 miles from your business. And you can see here, this was a Montessori school in Parker, where it was $2.99 for cost per 1,000 for impressions. So we could reach 1,000 people for or serve 1,000 people an ad for $2.99. It's gone up in cost a little since then, but still Still pretty good. Just going to check my time, 9:15. Okay. So here's a navigation map. Once someone clicks that ad and gets directions, leads them right to your business. There's also the call now objective I told you about. These are very old ads I still use. It's kind of Facebook's old look, but right there, you see the call now button. Imagine your copy, your website, and your headline in there, and call now, and it puts your phone number you program into the ad right into their phone. Here's a client example. This was a criminal defense attorney in Jacksonville, Florida, that I ran ads for successfully for many, many years. But this one was interesting. Someone's in trouble. They see an ad, call now, imports it. All they have to do is push call on their phone. That's it. It drastically reduces conversion friction. And well, you say, how do you know when someone's going to get in trouble? In his case, he's a DUI attorney. So sometimes we would run ads only from 10 p.m. till 3 a.m. on Friday and Saturday evening. So to get creative to find ways to reach your avatar. So speaking of avatar, tip number 3 is attraction marketing. You want to create an avatar and advertise directly to him or her. Now, as I mentioned, your avatar is just your ideal buyer persona. It can be male, female, or both, but give them a name, give them an age. A lot of people talk about doing an avatar worksheet where you give them a name, interest, income, marital status, kids or not. The further you can dial into that, and I realize you may have several avatars or sub-avatars, but the more you can dial into that and understand your avatar, the more your ad creative and your ad copy and your messaging, your emails, everything will resonate with them. And the more they resonate with how you speak to them, the more likely they are to convert to a buyer. So you want to always provide value. You can provide value in the form of education, tips as it relates to your products or services, FAQs, should ask questions, SAQs. You can give them entertainment, inspiration, emotion, humor. Just think about how you browse Facebook and how you scroll through your feed and what stops you, what makes you like something, what makes you share something. Think about that from your avatar standpoint and do that for them. Because you always want to lead with value and follow with the sale. You want to give them value. You want to become that person they know, like, and trust. Be that person. Like we all have people we know, like, and trust. We all frequent a local restaurant that maybe it's a little more expensive than other restaurants, but it's a dependable experience. We know the owners, we like the established, and we trust it. We trust it. So be that person to your avatar. And ask yourself, what questions does my avatar ask about my business, services, and products? And then provide the answers to those questions. Because if you have a top 5 or 10 lists of most frequently asked questions from your existing people who have closed to be customers or clients, you know that future customers, clients are going to have those same exact questions. So it not only provides value, it leverages your time. You can do that in ads, you can do that on your website, but never spam. Like so many businesses raise their hand and they say, hey, I'm the best, look at me. We're the cheapest, Like use those as kind of secondary things. Provide value on the front end, because once someone sees you as someone spammy, it's really hard to change that perception. And always highlight the benefits of your product service. You can never have too many benefits of your product and service. And bring someone from their pain to their pleasure. Make your product or service the pain pill for your client or customer's pain. Another thing to highlight, I'm gonna just add in here, besides you can never have too many benefits, you can also never have too much social proof. And when I say social proof, I talk about testimonials, appearances on media, like if you've been on any news channels, Social proof is also the likes, loves, comments, shares on your actual ads, which I'll talk about in a moment. Okay, tip number 4, posts and engagement. So you want to attempt to post every day, at least once during peak time, which I'm going to show you what that means in a moment, because you can check your insights and find out when your demographics on your online. You want to use videos and images in your posts and Facebook Live. You can schedule your posts ahead of time, which I'll show you an example of after the screen, because not everyone has time every day to post once a day, but a lot of us maybe have an hour of work time over the weekend or Monday or Friday, whenever that is. say, I'm going to schedule out the next 2 weeks. I'm going to put some really valuable stuff out there. And then you know it's going out on autopilot and you don't have to do that every day. It frees up conscious and subconscious space to produce work, income, and value to your existing customers and clients and manage your business. You want to always like and reply to all guest comments. I'm not sure of the exact age demographic here, but it looks like most everyone's that I saw is somewhat similar to my age, some a little bit older, some younger, but either way, I know when I was younger, and some of you probably remember this, like there'd be like dedication segments on the local radio where someone would call in and dedicate a song to their girlfriend. I remember once it happened to me, they put my song on the air and it was like the best feeling in the world. Maybe you can relate. But what I'm saying is you want to like and reply to all guest comments. One of the biggest mistakes I see my clients make, big and small, is they don't like or love comments. They don't reply to guest comments. They kind of just let them sit there. And I've seen brands nearly ruined because they did not respond to people and people got pissed. They're like, hey, I took the time to thank you, to say this was valuable and you didn't even acknowledge me. So remember the importance of that. Not only that, when you like or you put a reaction to their comment, and you comment on comments, it actually helps you appear in the organic algorithm, in the organic feed, and it also helps your paid ads because Facebook sees that you're a legitimate business providing a good user experience. So that's Facebook's first priority, is to provide value to its users, a good user experience. Second, they value their advertisers because without their users, the advertisers won't be there. You want to delete negative spam or irrelevant comments. Now, this is another major mistake I see a lot of business owners make. You'd be surprised how often it happens, but you get someone commenting on someone's ad or post that's super negative, it's profane, and people don't delete it because they don't want to piss the person off. And I tell my clients, I'm like, you know what, screw it. Like, you've spent blood, sweat, and tears and sleepless nights on this business. You've given it your all to create this business. Don't be afraid to get rid of people that are disparaging, rude, or just profane. Like, so you want to just delete those comments and ban that person because you don't want to ever deal with that person again. You don't want them on your algorithm to be shown to retargeting ads or future content. So you have to delete them again, delete them and ban them. Now, kind of the middle ground between commenting on all good posts and deleting all really bad posts is the middle ground. Like, someone maybe posts something irrelevant, like they bring in politics out of nowhere just because they want to spout politics. Well, hide that comment. The reason for that is when you hide a comment, only the user that left it and their friends can ever see that comment. But anyone else that sees the ad or post cannot. The benefit to you is you still retain the engagement of that comment that helps your paid and organic algorithm, helps you reach more people for less money. So what do you post? Like, what types of posts do you put out? Well, you want to use kind of things that make people engage, make people stop, take an action, and kind of pattern interrupt. So you can use fill in the blank posts, you can use polls, you can use memes, or you can end your post with a question. So and any of these are highly likely to get someone engaged. If it's a good question, it's a good fill in the blank, it has a good accompanying creative, such as a good video or a good image. Like I said, good engagement will get your post seen. This is interesting. The best performing posts are actually written at a 5th grade level. Now, you'll also find that on your website, depending on your niche. It's not always the case, but 90% of the time, the more simple you can write your copy on your website, your emails, your ad copy, the better. So you can actually use the HemingwayApp.com and you can paste the copy of your website, an email, an ad in there, and it'll give you a grade level. Like, you'll be surprised. You'll think you wrote something really simple and it says like 9th grade level. So just note the best performing, the top copywriters in the world, this is one of their secrets, because I've been in a lot of masterminds with them. You want to use the power of assumption in your photos. I know when I first got started in marketing in the days of CB Potts at Collindale Golf Course, like even prior to that, when I was first getting started, like I would have my business partner take a picture of me behind a podium and there was no one in the room, but it looked like I was speaking behind a podium. It gave them the assumption that I was knowledgeable in what I was talking about. And I wasn't super knowledgeable then, but I just had a little bit more knowledge than them. So I was valuable. And people use the power of assumption. I didn't lie, just took my picture of myself behind a podium and put some value in a Facebook post and ended up doing good things for me. So use that to your benefit without lying, obviously, stay in integrity. The ideal length for maximum engagement is about 40 characters. So you don't have to put a super long post. That's not always the case. So I'll talk about this later, but always want to test things. But in general, the shorter, simple posts do very well that get engagement. Also think about what your avatar wants, your ideal customer wants at the time of day you post it. Someone in the morning going through their Facebook news feed, maybe having coffee, breakfast, newspaper, whatever they do in the morning. But you post at 8 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night, they may be getting ready for bed. They may be sitting there scrolling through their feed in their bed. So think about that. And so here's the Facebook Insight example I mentioned, where you can go into your Facebook page insights and it'll show you when your users are most online. And so this is pretty typical. It's kind of the 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. timeframe, but it varies by business. So ideally, you're posting kind of where momentum starts, maybe in that 9 a.m. timeframe, 8 a.m. timeframe, so you can catch the momentum of the day, or maybe even a little bit earlier, maybe even 6 a.m. But I don't really worry about it too much. I'd like to maximize things, but since I run so many things from a paid ad standpoint, I make sure everyone sees good content with paid advertising. Here's where you can do Facebook post scheduling. It's now done in Publishing Tools Creator Studio. Used to be able to do it right from the Facebook page post. It's no longer the case. But you can go in there and publish all these posts, put them in queue. And I do have one tip here. Always go back and review what those posts look like in your queue, because you want to make sure that the post is going to come out. You can see like a mobile and a desktop preview, and you want to go in there and make sure that the image isn't pixelated. You don't have any typos, but once they're out, you just let them go. You can schedule one a day for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever you want to do, or 5 a day, whatever that is to you. You can also go back in and delete things or change the time that they're scheduled for. So you can really leverage your time that way. You want to develop a content strategy. Tip number 5. I'm checking on time here. We're just before halfway through, so we're good on time. Again, Debbie, please shout out if someone has any questions as I go. Feel free to stop me. You want to target your audience with relevant content and also incorporate into your other digital marketing methods. So I like to use Facebook as kind of my central content idea. And so let me just think of a local business. So maybe say a local real estate agent has an idea on 5 tips to stage your home before a sale. So you make that as a Facebook post. You can have an image, you can have a video explaining that, but then you can also write a blog post for your website on that same tip. That Facebook post could actually point to the blog post. So you could consolidate the info on the Facebook post, point them to the blog post for the full content. You could do a YouTube video on your YouTube channel with that content. So now you're ranking your blog on Google, you're ranking your YouTube video on YouTube and Google, because Google owns YouTube. You're promoting this all out with a Facebook post. You can write an email to your list that say, hey, I just wrote an article and shot a video on 5 tips on how to stage your home to sell quickly and for the most profit. And click here to check it out. And so you can embed the link to your blog post that has the YouTube video embedded in that. So you can really kind of combine everything. If you're doing other methods, you can do those as well. If you're doing Pinterest or TikTok or Snapchat or any of those things, you can incorporate those as well. But don't get overwhelmed. Like start with one method, like get really good at one marketing method, or if you've already got one marketing method, add another. So a lot of people make the shiny object syndrome mistake, and they try to master everything at once versus focusing heavily on one, getting really good at it, and then moving on to another. But you can develop an SOP, a standard operating procedure, and put content on autopilot. So many times as business owners, we get stressed out. We've got employees to manage, we got a business to manage, we got books, we got payroll, we got all these things to do. And oftentimes your content gets backed up. So if you develop an SOP, you write out a standard operating procedure and say, step 1, come up with content idea that provides value to avatars. Step 2, create a Facebook post. Step 3, write a blog post. Step 4, shoot the YouTube video. Step 5, email the blog post with YouTube video embedded to it. And do that once a week, and then outsource that. Like get get a content writer, get a graphics person, get your developer to put that up, and just put it on their plate to do that once a week. You come up with all the valuable keywords, methods, and things like that, give it to them, and then you get 10, 20 pieces of content ideas. It's done for you every week, and I'll tell you what, that'll compound over time. You can use tools like BuzzSumo and Google Keyword Planner. Google Keyword Planner is just going to show you kind of search volume for your keywords in Google. You can also use Ahrefs, which is going to show you organic search volume. Google Keyword Planner is paid. You can use a tool like BuzzSumo. Check that out. You can actually type in a keyword into that, and it'll come back to you with the most popular content from a social media standpoint. It'll show you like what content related to that keyword has the most engagement over the last 3 months, 6 months, year, whatever filter you put in. So,
Jeremy, I'm sorry to interrupt. You said
yeah,
BuzzSumo, keyword, Google Keyword Planner, and there was one other you threw out?
Ahrefs.
Thank you.
Which is ahrefs.com. Yeah. So there's Google Keyword Planner, there's BuzzSumo, just some very valuable tools that can make your life easier, and no reason to reinvent the wheel when you can see what's working. Half the viral articles out there on Google are just repurposed from an existing news story. So you write, like, you can even look at a national level. What's the biggest thing, like going back to the real estate avatar, like what's the biggest performing social media content right now for real estate? And so maybe they talk about the interest rate hike coming, or the market's going to crash soon. And so you just write an article based on that information in your own brand. You don't plagiarize, you kind of rewrite it and put it out there, and you not only have a chance to rank locally very well, but also nationally. There's also another thing you can use, Debbie, make sure and get this down. This is Google Trends. So you can search Google for Google Trends. It's going to show you keywords that you can type in keywords, and it'll show you related keywords that are kind of how much of a trend there is for that search right now. So there some keywords are in breakout phase where they're going crazy on Google. So that's just another tool you can use. Tip number 6 is test all ad objectives. This gets a little more advanced if you haven't got this. Is in Ads Manager. Boosting a post is Facebook's easy way for the average business owner to spend money on their platform. Ads Manager is a little more complex, but there's a lot more options. Does someone have a question? Okay, I just heard someone's shout out. So in my opinion, Facebook is still the most powerful marketing platform that exists today. Things are changing, so I don't know how long that'll last. We'll see how the whole Metaverse thing plays out, which I'll talk about in a moment. But there's so many different ad objectives. We've talked about a few, but there's ads. You can get likes on your page. There's posts, and never pay for likes, by the way. Don't ever hire an agency to give you like 100,000 Instagram followers or page likes. There's many reasons for that, but I'll just say don't do it. There's engagement ads where you can boost out existing posts on the page. It's like a boost, but it's an engagement ad. There's traffic and clicks ads. There's retargeting ads. There's video view ads. There's reach ads. There's conversion ads. So if you're selling a physical e-commerce product, or you're generating leads for your business, a conversion ad is one of my favorites, because it basically you launch a landing page, someone opts in, they hit a thank you page, and you basically tell Facebook, go out and get as many people that will convert to this thank you page, fill in this opt-out in form as possible. There's lead generation ads. Those are the ones I mentioned that are all done within your Facebook newsfeed. It gets leads that way. You want to split test everything is tip number 7. If you're not familiar with split testing, you may have heard of A/B testing, but here's what a split test is, or here's what you can split test. You can split test images and videos, and let me back up. So a split test is basically you put out 2 of the same ad, but with a slight variation on each. So maybe you have the same text, the same headline, the same call to action button, but you have a slightly different image. And so the goal is to get the best conversion rate. And I'll show you an example of what that looks like. But things you can split test against each other on to get the best result are images and videos, creative and copy, ad objective, the placement. You can test mobile versus desktop placement versus Facebook's audience network, which I don't have time to go into at the moment. You can split test different offers, like you can split test free shipping versus 10% off, like different angles, hooks, offers. You can split test different platforms. You can test Instagram versus Facebook. And you can actually test different ads platforms, Facebook versus Google, Pinterest, LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat, etc. But you only want to test one thing at a time, because if you test too many things at a time, you don't know which is working. And I will say a caveat for the super advanced people here. The only time you'd want to test more than one thing at a time is using a program like VWO, which is called multivariate testing. I'm not going to go into that because that's super high level.
Hey, Jeremy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has a question about asking if you're going to be discussing retargeting today.
Yeah, I can go into it a little bit more, but I'll touch on it, and then at the end, when the questions come up, ask me that again. I can maybe get specifically into what you want to know about retargeting. Debbie, whose question was that?
Yeah, Yi.
Okay.
Thanks. I got that. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Great question, by the way, because retargeting is super important. Yeah, I actually believe that's one of the tips coming up. So so here's a split test example. As you can see, you see the same exact Facebook page advertising. You can see the same exact text or copy above the image. You see the same exact headline below the image. And that little copy down below, that's called the newsfeed description. That's exactly the same. The call to action buttons, both download. But all they did is change the image within that. And their cost conversion went from $2.67 to $1.03. So over time, what you want to do is now, so you'd say, okay, I've got a new image that's really doing well. Let's now test the headline. So we're going to slightly vary the headline. So then you find a winning headline, and then you test a new text. And so over time, what I refer to these ads are that have been tested over and over are super ads. You may have heard them called control ads, but you're always trying to beat the control. Like you almost cut that in a third, that cost per conversion. And if your conversion rate stays the same, that's a lot of extra money in your pocket just by doing some split testing. It's super important. Facebook's actually made this pretty easy for you lately. They've launched what's called dynamic creative ads that actually do allow you to test multiple things at one time, because they do it for you. So they allow you to put in 10 different images or videos, 5 different headlines, 5 different call to action buttons, 5 different copy. And what Facebook does, that comes up with about 6,600 different variations of one ad in the same ad. Facebook will show different variations one at a time because you're reaching so many people. And over time, it's going to show the best performing combinations. Like it's going to show image number 2 with headline number 3 and text number 1. It's going to find out that that's the winner, and it's going to show that, and it's going to help you get the lowest cost per conversion, whether that be a sale, a lead, a click, or whatever that KPI or key performance indicator is to you. I already mentioned that. So tip number 8 is use data reports and setting. Facebook has an immense amount of data. It's kind of starting to get them in trouble. I remember speaking about Facebook ads 8 or 9 years ago, saying Facebook is king because of the amount of data they have. It also could be what causes them to fall, is that amount of data. So that's playing out as we speak. And some of that, I'm actually on their SMB ads ecosystem committee, where they're dealing with this privacy issue and how to keep users privacy safe, but still provide value to the advertisers. I can't talk about that because I'm under NDA for the most part, but they're doing some interesting things with what seems to be the actual intention of really keeping users data safe. So Facebook has an immense amount of reporting options. You want to use them. Like one of the biggest things when I come in to consult to a client, sometimes even an agency, I'm amazed by how people say, well, I've run some Facebook ads, and you may be thinking this in your own head. You're like, I don't know if Facebook really works. I've run some ads, I boosted some posts, but I don't know if they actually work. I don't think they actually work. I say, well, what reports did you run? Like what stats are you looking at? Like how are you quantifying that? So it's really, marketing is an art and a science, but really the magic's in the numbers. As I've shown you, like you get your conversion rate up, you get your cost per conversion down, and you just run the numbers. Like to get to where you need to be with Facebook, you just look at the numbers. It should all be about the numbers. Facebook provides all these reporting options, which I'm about to show you in a moment. You can integrate with your Google Analytics if you do that. So you can confirm data, because after iOS 14, which I'll talk about in a moment, you may want to consider an outside attribution platform. iOS 14, just really quick, is Apple made it so, I'll actually go into that in a moment. I don't want to confuse you on this slide. You can schedule custom reports to be launched every week. So if you have a team, if you have a larger business, you have a team of people You can schedule a custom report to be emailed to them once a week, once a month, whatever it may be. You also want to use lookalike audiences and Facebook's 1,500 data points. That's the topic for a whole presentation, but basically what a lookalike audience is say you've had when you put a pixel, which is Facebook's tracking cookie, you put that on your website. So you have 1,000 people who visit your website. That's called your source audience. You now say, Facebook, out of those 1,000 visitors to my website, create me a lookalike audience of people most similar to the people that have visited my website. Facebook will come back to you with a very large, much larger audience using its 1,500 data points with all kinds of new people most similar to your existing website visitors. Now you can do that with your customer list. You can actually upload your customer list to Facebook, say, create me a lookalike audience of people most similar to my buyers. So you really leverage your spend that way. I won't go deep into that unless there's more questions. It's just really powerful. And again, the magic's in the numbers. Don't guess, don't say Facebook ads don't work. Actually just run some reports and say, what was my cost per click? How many clicks do I need for a lead? How many leads do I need for a sale? And then see if you can hone in on that and reverse engineer it. This is a little small, but there's like at least 100 different reporting options. You can actually run a report on a video ad you run and see 10-second viewers, 30-second viewers, 25% viewers. You can see click-through rates, cost per click, links, cost per add to carts, cost per lead. I mean, how many, the frequency, which is how many times people have seen your ad reach, amount spent. There's literally over 100 different KPIs or key performance indicators you can look at. Quickly, a Facebook page setting I want to go over. When I first started in marketing, I had a page that's still out there, I think, called Jeremy Howie Success Coach. I built it to 2,000 or 3,000 fans. Was really proud of myself. My Facebook mentor, he said, let's take a look at something because they weren't converting. And I realized that about 80% of my page fans were from India. And nothing against people from India. I love people from India and I have friends from India, but they weren't my buyer. So I loaded my page with a bunch of people who are not buyers. So if you do business at all outside of the local area, you might want to focus only on the US or type the name of the countries you do business in. So here you go. Here's your question on retargeting. Tip number time is use retargeting because it's the highest converting form of marketing that exists because it incorporates initial intent to purchase or see your product or service. So it typically, historically, I've said it takes 7 or more touches to close a sale. That's actually now doubling because social media information overload or banner blindness. And what banner blindness means is they're saying people see about 40,000 digital images daily now. I don't want to go too deep down this rabbit hole, but our minds have what's called a reticular activating system, RAS, and this gets into psychology, which marketing is all about. But basically, your reticular activating system is designed to filter out things that aren't relative to you at the moment. So you may have found yourself driving down the road and kind of came to like a mile later and you don't remember passing all the stuff you normally pass. You're like, holy crap, I was driving, I don't even remember it. But your reticular activating system's helping run that. You also may remember like getting in the market for a new vehicle. You're like, oh, I like this specific hatchback. And all of a sudden you see that hatchback everywhere. Before your RAS, reticular activating system, was filtering that out. But now that it's in your awareness, it's filtering it back in. So all that to say, basically you want to make sure and get through to other people's conscious awareness. And so you need to retarget people and stay in front of people, not just retarget people on Facebook, but you want to have them see on Facebook, Instagram, Audience Network, Google, your website, emails, as many places as possible to kind of break through their subconscious filter. You want to make sure and set up your Facebook pixel properly. It's just, like I said, a bit of code, a little tracking code that you actually put on your website, created in Facebook Ads Manager, put on your website. You can now track people that visit your website. So here is retargeting simplified. So a visitor visits your website. Maybe it's from an ad, maybe it's from a blog, whatever it may be. They leave your site, they see an ad, and the ad drives them back to your website. Like I said, it's the highest converting form of marketing that exists. You can retarget people with things like social proof, video, testimonials, content, previous event photos, awards, team members, press releases, and discounts, whatever it may be, to get that person off the fence into kind of that awareness stage, interest stage, into a buying stage. So here's a piece of content that I ran when I launched my e-commerce product, how to reach 3,000 e-commerce product buyers every day with this $5 Facebook traffic ad. And you can see it got 2.2 thousand reactions, 59 comments, 499 shares. And the nice thing is that ad appeared on my Facebook page. So when someone visited organically, like, wow, he's getting huge engagement. So you can do the same thing for your business. You can use those huge social proof. Was there a
Jeremy,
question?
we're at about 15
Yeah.
minutes.
Okay, thank you, Debbie. I'll keep moving quickly here. Retarget and continue. You can retarget with offers such as a discount or free shipping to get a potential buyer of defense, like I mentioned. You can use Facebook as your retargeting hub to use it to retarget visitors' website from all sources. So you may be investing in SEO, Pinterest, Google, pay-per-click, YouTube. All those methods drive traffic to your website. If you got a Facebook pixel on your site and they're logged into Facebook in any way, you can track them. So I've had clients that spend upwards of $150 on Google ads per click. Some like personal injury attorneys spend up to $500 a click, $450, $500 a click. And if you don't retarget them, you lose that click if they don't opt in or call you. So it's a huge lever. You can retarget people for pennies on the dollar. So there's your island that has cash on it, and Facebook, Pinterest, all those things are driving traffic to your website. You can retarget all those using Facebook. You can also retarget people who watch 75% of a video or more, like or how long people spend on your website. You can retarget them by that as well. I'm going to go ahead and move on. You build these retargeting audiences in the audiences tab in Ads Manager. Tip number 10 is you want to use new features and organic. So you can connect with other Facebook pages as your business. Like when you get on Facebook and you're on your page, you can visit a page and there's a drop down that says like this business is my page. You can also look for posts that your avatar may hang, your pages where your avatar might hang out. And as your business page, comment on a post on that page that already has 100 comments. And what's going to happen is that's free advertising for you, because every person that's commented on that post is going to get a notification that, hey, XYZ business just commented on a post you had previously commented on. So a little hack there. You can use Facebook's private voice messaging feature. I'm guessing most of the businesses here are local. So if you go to a networking event, a dinner, whatever that may be, one of my original mentors said, always go to events with empty pockets and open ears. So versus handing out a bunch of brochures and business cards, just go and take some notes on your phone or take some notes on your hand or a card or whatever, learn something about the person, truly care about the person, their family and their goals, and then follow up with them on Facebook if they're cool with that, and send them a voice recording. Say, hey, John, nice to meet you. I loved hearing about your kids and their soccer, and your business seems like it's growing. Would love to connect sometime. If you need support, reach out. And that little touch sets you apart from 99% of competition. You can do Facebook Lives. They're not so new anymore, but they're still heavily promoted. You can use Messenger bots, automated messaging sequences on Messenger. Facebook Stories, Reels. Here's what to expect in 2022 and beyond. Need to change that date. But let me get back there. Okay, so the continued expansion of evolution of mobile video and the Facebook Live marriage. It's already happening to a large part. The virtual reality and integration of the Metaverse. Facebook purchased Oculus a few years ago, which was the biggest VR company, virtual reality company. You're going to see increasing intelligence of algorithm pixels in artificial intelligence. It's getting pretty crazy. In fact, I'll just share a quick snippet. Is Facebook, when I was out at Facebook last time, they were talking about, I think it was Building 8, and this is no longer NDA, so I can share it. They had 60 high-level active engineers working on brain digital interfacing, which basically means we're talking Star Trek stuff, like you think the thought and it appears on your screen. It's almost like if you know of the law of attraction, it's almost instant law of attraction. Like you think the thought and it happens on your computer screen. They've got this all to the point of an actual wrist bracelet that has electronic sensors where it'll pick up your thought via your wrist and it'll move the cursor on the screen. So pretty crazy stuff. Kind of scary, but also kind of exciting in a way. You're going to see expanded Messenger. You're going to see more push of Instagram, Facebook Stories, and Reels. You've already seen this, but it's happening more and more. The integration of Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. Congress with other groups before about this to stand up for business owners' rights. You're going to see potential data loss from iOS 14 and Facebook's attempts to circumvent it. I had a whole bit about iOS 14. I don't think we're gonna have time to really go into it, but basically what that is Apple basically gave Facebook the finger in all platforms. So it was originally scheduled for release in 2020 of September 2020, and it actually began in April of 2021. But basically what it is Google, it's pretty much fully rolled out now, but when users upgraded to iOS 14, they were shown a prompt. So they were shown a prompt that said, do you want to allow Facebook to use your app and website activity? And they put the default setting as no, which means that Facebook is no longer as effective in retargeting because it can't follow those people across websites. And it actually decreases the user experience because it affects our ability to target people. So if you're seeing an ad that's completely unrelated to you, it's probably because of iOS 14. It's the biggest change I've seen in online marketing in my 12-ish years doing it. I'm going to just go through this really quick. Debbie, real quick, we ended an hour. Do we have questions after the hour? Do we have time after the hour for questions? Does that have to be included?
Usually try to sneak them within the hour so that we can get everyone back to work.
Okay.
Question from Tina as to if you recommend using Hootsuite or another scheduling platform.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm kind of old school and I kind of have more of a boutique agency and consultant these days, but if you have a larger business, absolutely use something like Hootsuite or Buffer, are both good programs for that. It can definitely leverage your time for sure. Great question. So basically Apple did this under the guise of user privacy. The thing is, they're not blocking themselves from this data, and they're going to be launching an expanded ads platform themselves, which I highly recommend everyone get on, especially when it's brand new. But it's all about walled gardens. Android, Google is about to do the same thing. So Facebook is combating this with trying to keep people on the platform. So pay on the platform, like I said, opt in on the platform with the lead generation ads, attend a Facebook event, pay for the event right on platform. Never happening. And that's one of my original thoughts when the first time when I visited headquarters in 2016 was Facebook is trying to make websites obsolete. Here's some solutions. I'm going to just leave that up so it's in the recording. Be patient, improve your creative, use on platform type ads, diversify your marketing to include more email marketing, increase your lifetime value of a customer, resell existing customers over, consider hiring an expert that deals with this, use an independent tracking attribution platform, and think of it as opportunity. So this will be in the recording. If you want to go back and kind of read through these in detail, you can pause it on this moment. So revenue optimization, I do want to touch on this really quick. It's the most important thing you can do. No matter what happens outside of Facebook, all you can control is what happens within your website, your means. So there's three things. Conversion rate. The average e-commerce conversion rate is about 2.5%, meaning 2.5 out of 100 website visitors are going to convert to customers. Imagine doubling or tripling that for the same ad spend. So say you spend $100 to make that happen. Imagine getting 3, 4, 5 times the customers for that same spend. You can also increase AOV, which is average order value. So you can upsell, you can bundle, you can cart optimization, you can add on an extra service, whatever your business is. You can add 30 or 50% more on average to a sale. And all of that is profit when you increase that. And then, like I mentioned before, increase your lifetime value is also a game changer. How much, it's not just how much you spend to acquire customers, it's how much are they going to spend over a 1, 5, 10-year buying time frame. So it changes how you acquire customers. The metaverse, what is it? It's basically a second reality online where through virtual and augmented reality, users interact with each other and buy things virtually, such as outfits for their digital avatar, their person within this virtual environment, which is like a cartoon character. It's like they wear a headset to see in the 3D environment, and you can carry motion controlling sensors to actually interact with virtual objects, such as objects on tables, things like that, and then use a microphone to communicate with others. Very interesting transformation. Here's some more tips. We're at 5 minutes left, so I'm going to do the same as I did before. Here's a bunch of other super valuable tips. with the most important being psychological marketing triggers such as scarcity, urgency, social proof, FOMO, fear of missing out, and discounts. I'm going to show you a book in just a moment that explains how to do all that. Here's some other cool resources. Facebook Blueprint. You can take online free modules. You can spend 15 minutes a day and master Facebook. It's all free. It's called Facebook Blueprint. You can Google it or come back and get this link. Also, if you're spending any money on ads, you should have the option to live chat. Most people don't know that. You can actually get someone, Facebook rep on Messenger, resolve an issue, and sometimes they'll even call you these days. They call me all the time and I don't answer because I don't have time because I have so many clients. But 3 action steps for your immediate success. Define your, these are the actionable steps. Define your avatar, list that out, start posting value to your avatar on your business page every day, and post a video on your business page 3 times a week, or if you're not brave, 1 time a week, and set a spend a budget to promote it. You'll be amazed at the results. Here's the book suggestions. One is cash advertising. This one, the next one is influence about psychology. So the first one's going to talk about those things I talked about: urgency, scarcity, FOMO, ad copy. The second one's going to talk about psychology. It's all about psychology. And the third one's just one of my favorite books by the co-founder of NLP. It's Get the Life You Want. It's going to help you hack your brain through neuro-linguistic programming to get the results you want in business, relationships, and life. Real quick, I wanted to give a special offer to Loco Think Tank. Do a one-on-one Facebook ads consultation. You can ask me anything you want. We can review everything covered here. We can look at your specific ads and marketing, come up with a quick strategy for your business and the exact methods to reach your goals. I normally charge $500 per hour for members here for Local Think Tank. I'm going to do $200 and also give you 1.5 hours, 90 minutes. I can only do that for the first 3 that contact me. So you can save $300, get 30 minutes extra, only until the close of business today. I honestly never do this. So thank you. I appreciate everyone's time and energy, and feel free to reach out to me on Facebook, Jeremy Howie. Connect with me. If you have any questions, feel to ask them there, and open up for questions because we have 2 minutes left.
Jeremy, thank you so much. If we can keep on the line if you're willing, if a lot of people have any questions. So go ahead and unmute yourself and talk to Jeremy. I did see one comment. Oh, Abby, is that you? Do you have a question?
Yeah, I have a question, and this is pretty elementary, but when we're posting on Facebook and Instagram, is there any reason to not post the same post ad on the 2? I mean, it's kind of the same platform, but it is also different. Any advice for that?
Yeah, I would say that's a great question, actually, and asked a lot. I would say, first of all, yeah, I mean, duplicate the content, that's fine. As far as any duplicate, they're different algorithms, so that's fine. Usually gonna be a different demographic. Worst case scenario is the same person sees the same content on Facebook and Instagram, which we're breaking through that reticular activating system in that case. But I would also say always test. I know it's cliche, but you always want to test that. Like, go say, okay, I'm gonna image number 1, I'm gonna post here on Facebook. Image, that same image I'm posting on Instagram. Like, how do they do? If I change that slightly for more of an Instagram format, or if I change it for a Facebook Reels format, does that change things? So, but I think you're way ahead of the game just by posting on both platforms. And yeah, it's totally fine to post duplicates on both.
Okay, and a quick follow-up question to that.
Yeah.
Why not use the Meta business app or whatever it is for posting and scheduling? Why would I want to use a different software or program?
It's kind of like it has to do with the size of your business and the amount of content you're going to put out. I generally find larger businesses with tons of content, because some businesses put out content every hour, and that can be a lot for the Facebook business suite, Meta business suite to handle. So sometimes it's easier to use Hootsuite or Buffer, or a similar program for that. I'm personally old school because I don't have a large agency. I've never had more than 20 clients at a time. Because I usually have like rev share and equity in companies when I do ads, but I love just doing the old manual way, making sure it's right, and that's just me though.
Jeremy, I was wondering about
question.
hashtags on posts, how important, and I see people that add 25 hashtags to their post.
Yeah, Facebook, it's not a big deal. Instagram, it's more important. Now, if you're on somewhere like TikTok, it's even more important. So it's kind of a preference. Sometimes hashtags can actually add to the content of the post. So if you have a post with a question or something, you can kind of put in a sneaky little subconscious thing in the hashtag where you're not really trying to get in the search bar. You're actually just putting a message through the hashtag. But that's a great question. It brings up another point. Like when you do a post on Facebook, like a video post, you always want to use a raw video. You don't want to link out to a YouTube video because, or sometimes even a website, another website besides your own, because Facebook wants to keep these walled gardens. They want to keep Facebook people on Facebook. And if you link out to YouTube, Facebook's going to increase your reach by about 30. Now, the only exception to that is if you were trying to boost up your rankings in YouTube by using Facebook ads to promote your YouTube videos. So yeah, great question.
Thank you.
You're
Jeremy, real quick, Heather Gray actually stepped up and said she wants to set up a consult. So you have your first one.
Okay. Hey, Heather. Absolutely. Cool. Any other questions? I'm happy to stick around a little bit. I know everyone's probably eyes are kind of glazed over. It's like I'm speaking a different language sometimes because I spout so much stuff at once. I'm trying to give everyone as much value as possible. So go back and listen to the recording, and once or twice, if you can create time, 2 times speed, and your mind will absorb more the second time, third time, as always.
And I did throw Jeremy's email in the chat if anybody wants it. Any
Yeah,
other questions?
I'll say I'm not the best at responding to email. Sometimes it takes me a couple days. So if you don't hear from me, I'll shout out my phone number too. The number is 970-218-6775. Please keep that within the Loco Think Tank circle, because I already get enough spam emails because they're out there on content that I don't remember exists. But feel free to text me.
Did you put it directly to somebody or did you put it to the group, because it's not showing up in the chat?
Strange.
There it is.
You see it?
Yep. Thank you.
Everyone. And I'm throwing the phone number in there too. All right. Any other questions? Jeremy, this was amazing. I'm not a marketing person and I had no idea that all this can be accomplished. So this is a gold mine for these people. So thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And sorry, it's so much information so quickly, but it's actually honestly the tip of the iceberg. We could go on for days of this, but it's the most important stuff.
And can anyone tell me how to save the chat?
I think it automatically saves since you're recording.
In the recording? Okay, thanks
Yeah.
all. All right, well, we're going to sign off. Jeremy, thank you again. And
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
let
you,
us know if
everyone.
Thank
we
you.
can help
Appreciate you all.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
Have a good day, everyone.
You too.